Heaven or Hell. Duel 1. Let's rock.
Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator is another entry in the long-running competitive anime fighting series by Aksys Works. The plot begins with an explanation of the series' lore, which involves people discovering magic at the end of the 20th century and the creation of gears, humans that have their cells fused with animal cells that gives them superhuman abilities. The game then proceeds to recap the events of Guilty Gear Xrd Sign, where a sole bad guy defeated Justice and Elphelt Valentine is kidnapped. The story then begins with a speech from St. Maximus explaining to the kidnapped Elphelt what her goals are. The Universal Will wants to replace the current human race with a brand new one because they think humanity is in a current state of redundancy and needs to go through evolution. Humanity does not agree with this and are prepared to fight back. The story was pretty enjoyable with its high productive value cutscenes, humorous banter between characters, and a lot of memorable moments that really stuck out. Sole Bad Guy stuck out to me as just being a really cool character. He's gruff, he acts cool, but he cares about everyone around him. It has a very basic character personalities, but has a lot of development of all these characters, as it has been continuous throughout the entire series. There is a lot of supplementary material to read to get you caught up on the series' lore, terminology, and characters, so you won't be totally left in the dark if you're just jumping in now. However, it is highly recommended that you play the other entries in the series. The presentation for this game is absolutely remarkable. The game uses 3D models for its characters, but they end up looking 2D due to the cel shading art direction, giving it a nice clean look. The cutscenes show a sign of stiff movement when it comes to the animations, but it still looks very nice. The fighters during gameplay are all animated splendidly, showing off personality in facial expressions and body movement. Also, all the characters retain their Japanese voices with subtitles, so no English voice acting is used. The best part of the sound direction is the amazing soundtrack. The variety in instruments and vocal tracks make each stage feel unique and give it a different atmosphere. The introduction songs are very good too, especially Safe Intoxication. It is head-bopping and really gets me pumped up for some fighting. Overall, the presentation is top-notch and shows how much love and care the developers put into this game. Gameplay is where the meat of the game is. As with every fighter, this is where most of the player's game time will stem from. Guilty Gear has very deep mechanics with a high skill ceiling. You have your standard punch, kick, slash, heavy, leg sweep, and dust attacks to start basic combos. But as you'll find out, doing various inputs while executing moves will do different attacks that lead into better combos. From jumping and executing perfectly timed attacks to dashing to the opponent and continuing a string of combos, this game has a lot to offer and a lot to learn, and it can intimidate players just looking to play casually. There is an option for basic and simple control style for casual play, but you won't get to experience how deep the game is. However, players that take the time and effort to learn the basic mechanics will soon find that each individual character plays so much differently than each other, and some even have their own mechanics on top of what's available across the board. It is quite a lot to take in, but it greatly rewards the effort. Guilty Gear is very much a competitive game geared at competitive players. There is nothing wrong with that, it's just something to keep in mind. The recommended controller for this game is a fight stick specifically made for competitive play. The DualShock 4's D-pad can put a strain on the fingers when trying to execute intricate combos. The analog stick can relieve some of that stress, but it's also inaccurate and harder to execute inputs for combos. Another thing to keep in mind when delving into this game. Online will be the mode heavily revisited for this game, as people will want to fight their friends and practice against human opponents to get better at mind games, matchup experience, and testing what they have learned. The netcode is very good, with only some instances in lag during test matches. Getting into lobbies of friends isn't as simple as choosing a separate option in a menu and then making a room. You must both choose a district and then meet up in a room. It would be much simpler if it was just a separate option in the menus. Overall, Guilty Gear Revelator is a treat all around. It has options for casual players and hardcore fighting game fans who will be able to truly appreciate what this game has to offer. The game also looks and sounds fantastic, and with the high skill ceiling, it'll be an experience that you'll want to keep coming back to get better and better at the game. And that does it for our review of Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator. If you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below, letting us know what you guys thought of the review, and be sure to check out our website, GamingGamma.com, to see a more detailed and fully in-depth review. And be sure to subscribe for future Let's Plays and reviews on this channel. And as always, everyone, this is GammaLad, signing off.